So OpenAI's annual Dev Day was a couple of days ago, and they showed off some amazing new features for developers like real-time API, which lets you build using the new advanced voice mode. Sam Altman also sat down for a live interview where he talked about how close we are to AGI and what the next 1 to 2 years is going to look like with the arrival of AI agents. Next, Microsoft is revamping Copilot, adding new advanced capabilities like voice and vision, and an experimental feature called Think Deeper, which leverages OpenAI's O1 model to handle more challenging and complex problems. Lastly, Pika Labs announces the release of Pika 1.5, their newest AI video generator. They focused heavily on improving the movement of objects, making it seem much more realistic, and even adding a feature called Pika effects, which lets you break the laws of physics. So jumping right into it, there were a few new features that OpenAI introduced at this year's Dev Day. The one that's been getting the most attention is the new real-time API. As it states here, like ChatGPT's advanced voice, but for your own app. So this is huge news if you're a developer because you can now leverage OpenAI's advanced voice in your own creations, and here's an example of just that.
¿Dónde está el baño?
The word baño is pronounced ba-nyo with a soft ny sound like in the English word canyon. Can you try saying that again?
¿Dónde está el baño?
Perfecto.
OpenAI also announced prompt caching, which essentially allows you to reuse prompts at a discounted price. It says here, our models can reuse recently seen input tokens, letting you add even more cache context into our models at a 50% discount and with no effect on latency. Then they announced vision fine-tuning, which allows developers to train GPT-4o on their own image datasets to improve its vision capabilities. And finally, they introduced model distillation. This one is actually pretty crazy. It allows developers to use larger OpenAI models like O1 or GPT-4o to generate synthetic data in order to then train and fine-tune a smaller, more cost-effective model like GPT-4o Mini. So more and more steps in the process of building and developing AI models are becoming automated by other AI, like fine-tuning for example, and this is something Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, is very well aware of. He actually sat down for an interview and some audience questions at OpenAI's Dev Day, and he was asked how close he thinks we are to AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, and here's what he had to say.
So we'll start with an easy one, Sam. How close are we to AGI?
You know, we used to, every time we finished a system, we would say like, in what ways is this not an AGI? And it used to be like, very easy. You can like make a little robotic hand that does a Rubik's Cube or a Dota bot. And it's like, oh, it does some things, but definitely not an AGI. It's obviously harder to say no. And so we're trying to like stop talking about AGI as this general thing, and we have this levels framework because the word AGI has become so overloaded. So like, real quickly, we use 1 for chatbots, 2 for reasoners, 3 for agents, 4 for innovators, and 5 for organizations, like roughly. I think we clearly got to level 2, or we believe we clearly got to level 2 with O1. And it, can do really quite impressive cognitive tasks. It's a very smart model. It doesn't feel AGI like in a few important ways. But I think if you just do the one next step of making it, very agent-like, which is on level 3, and which I think we will be able to do in the not distant future, it will feel surprisingly capable. Still probably not something that most of you would call an AGI, although maybe some of you would. But it's going to feel like, all right, this is like a significant thing. And then the leap, and I think we do that pretty quickly. The leap from that to something that can really increase the rate of new scientific discovery, which for me is like a very important part of having an AGI. I feel a little bit less certain on that, but not a long time. Like, I think all of this now is going to happen pretty quickly. And if you think about what happened from last decade to this one in terms of model capabilities, and you're like, if you go look at like, if you go from like O1 on a hard problem back to like 4 Turbo that we launched 11 months ago, you'll be like, wow, this is happening pretty fast. And I think the next year will be very steep progress. Next 2 years, I think will be very steep progress. Harder than that, hard to see with a lot of certainty, but I would say like not very, and at this point the definitions really matter. And in fact, the fact that the definitions matter this much somehow means we're like getting kind of close.
So that was a pretty long and insightful answer. The main takeaway from what he's saying here is that he's expecting very steep progress in the next 1 to 2 years. And he also mentions that AI agents are soon going to be so capable that some people might even consider them AGI. And there's actually another clip from this same interview that I'll be showing you guys later in the video where he talks about how unbelievably capable these AI agents will be in the future and what exactly that's going to look like for the world. Now, with all this recent OpenAI news and the release of their new O1 models, they were able to secure another round of funding. It states here, we've raised $6.6 billion in new funding at a $157 billion post-money valuation to accelerate progress on our mission. This now makes OpenAI the third most valuable private company in the world behind SpaceX and China's ByteDance. It seems like everyone's jumping on the OpenAI train nowadays, but apparently not Apple. They ended up pulling out their investment last second, as it states here. Apple is no longer in talks to participate in an OpenAI funding round expected to raise as much as $6.5 billion, an 11th hour end to what would have been a rare investment by the iPhone maker in another major Silicon Valley company. So Apple is probably just being extra cautious here. They don't want to overplay their hand considering they're already partnering with OpenAI to power their new advanced Siri. But OpenAI is having no trouble coming up with more money, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they decide to IPO soon and become a publicly traded company, given their recent plans to restructure to a for-profit. In other AI news, Microsoft has made some big updates to Copilot, their AI companion. Today we're beginning to roll out the updated Copilot, including new and enhanced features. Their first new feature is Copilot Voice. It's the most intuitive and natural way to brainstorm on the go, ask a quick question, or even just vent at the end of a tough day. Your companion will be personal to you with 4 voice options to choose from, so nothing really new there. Another notable feature they've added is Copilot Vision. Copilot Vision allows the AI to see your computer screen and answer questions based on what it's seeing in real time. As they state here, this is a profoundly new way of interacting with a computer. Copilot Vision sees what you see and can talk to you about it in real time. It understands the web page you're viewing, both text and images, and can answer questions about its content, suggest next steps, and help you without disrupting your workflow. It's also still an experimental feature though that can only be accessed through Copilot Labs, unlike the other features which are directly integrated into Microsoft Edge. In Copilot Labs, you can also access an experimental feature called Think Deeper, which I briefly talked about earlier in this video. It says here, Copilot can now reason through more complex questions. Think Deeper takes more time before responding, allowing Copilot to deliver detailed and step-by-step answers to challenging questions. We've designed it to be helpful for all kinds of practical and everyday challenges, like comparing 2 complex options side by side. Should I move to the city or that? What type of car best suits my needs? And so on. It's an early Copilot skill that's still undergoing development, so we've placed it in our experimental Copilot Labs to test it and get feedback. So this sounds a lot like OpenAI's O1 model, and in fact it is. I feel like Microsoft's Copilot doesn't get talked about enough, probably because they received a lot of backlash after announcing the recall feature, which allows you to search through anything you've ever done on your computer that the AI has recorded. A lot of people obviously had privacy concerns with this, and Microsoft now gives you the ability to opt in or opt out for the recall feature, but think about how powerful the combination of all these features can be. I mean, you have an AI built right into your PC with voice powered by OpenAI's advanced voice, vision, the AI can actually see and understand what you're looking at, recall, the AI has a memory of everything you've ever done and you can easily search through it, and finally Think Deeper, powered by OpenAI's O1 models, which can solve harder and more complex problems. The combination of all these features along with the imminent arrival of capable agentic systems is truly going to change everything in ways that we can't even imagine. Just listen to what Sam Altman had to say about the future of AI agents and what it could potentially look like.
When you can ask a model, when you can ask ChatGPT or some agent something, and it's not just you get a kind of quick response, or even you get 15 seconds of thinking and O1 gives you a nice piece of code back or whatever. But you can really give something a multi-turn interaction with environments or other people or whatever, and think for the equivalent of multiple days of human effort. And a really smart, really capable human, and have stuff happen. We all say that, we're all oh yeah, agents are the next thing, this is coming, this is gonna be another thing, and we just talk about it okay, it's the next model in the evolution. I would bet, and we don't really know until we get to use these, that we'll of course get used to it quickly, people get used to any new technology quickly, but this will be a very significant change to the way the world works in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's amazing. Somebody was talking about getting used to new capabilities in AI models and how quickly, actually I think it was about Waymo, but they were talking about how in the first 10 seconds of using Waymo, they were oh my God, is this thing, there's a bike, let's watch out. And then 10 minutes in, they were oh, this is really cool. And then 20 minutes in, they were checking their phone, bored. It's amazing how much your sort of internal firmware updates for this new stuff very quickly.
Yeah, I think that people will ask an agent to do something for them that would have taken them a month, and it'll finish in an hour. It'll be great, and then they'll have like 10 of those at the same time, and then they'll have like 1,000 of those at the same time. And by 2030 or whatever, we'll look back and be like, yeah, this is just like what a human is supposed to be capable of. What a human used to like, grind at for years or whatever, or many humans used to grind at for years. Like, I just now like ask a computer to do it. It's like done in an hour. Why is it not a minute?
So I don't think people are truly ready for what's coming with AI agents. We can already see the beginnings of it with OpenAI's O1 models that can literally think and reason. Google is also working on their own reasoning AI to compete with OpenAI's O1 models, and it won't be long until other big AI companies start doing the same. These advanced reasoning capabilities are what's going to lead to making capable AI agents possible, and it seems we're only a few years away. In some other OpenAI news, they just dropped Canvas. When writing code, Canvas makes it easier to track and understand ChatGPT's changes. It can also review code, add logs and comments, fix bugs, and port to other coding languages like JavaScript and Python. So this is more good news for developers. They've now added something similar to Claude Artifacts, which gives you more control over your code and makes the whole process much more efficient. In other AI news, California's Governor Gavin Newsom vetoes controversial AI safety bill SB 1047. Most AI companies were against this bill as they can see it hindering innovation and progress, but others thought it was necessary given the potential risks. I could see both sides, but personally I think it's a little early for a bill like this. I mean, you can see from how it's going in the EU, they were quick to regulate AI, and now unfortunately companies are reluctant to launch there. What do you guys think about this bill being vetoed? Do you agree with Gavin Newsom's decision, or do you think he should have passed it? Let me know in the comments. Now, in the world of AI video generation, Pika Labs announces Pika 1.5. With more realistic movement, big screen shots, and mind-blowing Pika effects that break the laws of physics, there's more to love about Pika than ever before. What's really unique about this release though is the new Pika effects. Take a look. We also had the release of Mystic V2 from Magnific AI. This is one of the best AI image generators I've seen. It can generate super realistic pictures like these, and sometimes even in 4K. Here's a few more examples of images it generated, and I mean the detail and quality here is just insane. Finally, we had two new model releases, one of them being a completely new architecture. Liquid AI announces Liquid Foundation Models, or LFMs, a new generation of generative AI models that can achieve state-of-the-art performance at every scale, while maintaining a smaller memory footprint and more efficient inference. As you can see from this chart, these new LFMs are outperforming other state-of-the-art models with less parameters on the MMLU Pro benchmark. Their largest 40 billion parameter model even outperforms Llama 3.1's 70 billion parameter model, and is almost double its size. Now, this is still a very new architecture, and benchmarks don't always tell the full story. I actually asked it a few questions myself, and to be honest, I wasn't very impressed, but we'll definitely be keeping an eye on this company, and I'll make sure to leave the link in the description if you guys want to try it out for yourself. The other model release is Nvidia's NVLM-D 72 billion parameter model. What's notable about this model is its performance on vision benchmarks. It's literally on par with models like GPT-4o, Llama 405B, and Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and it's only 72 billion parameters. So Nvidia is not only providing the chips to power everyone's AI, but they're also starting to make competitive AI models themselves. Anyways, that's all the AI news for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like. And as always, if you want to stay up to date on future AI news just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button.